It's Renee here, and I wanted to talk to you guys about sharpening your scissors, because if you do a lot of sewing and crafting, it is kind of important to keep a good pair of scissors and know how to sharpen them. And this is something that, you know, my mom was a seamstress all of her life. She had owned her own business at one time, and she actually gave me 2 pair of these big, like, industrial tailored scissors, or whatever you call them. Well, she gave me this pair first, and I'll tell you in a minute why she gave me another pair. But so Mama always taught me how to sharpen my scissors and to keep them sharp, you know. And she always said, don't use the scissors you use for your fabric to cut paper and things. And I'll tell you why you don't do that in a moment too, and show you an example. But here I have, these are my scissors that I use to cut paper. I usually use them to cut a pattern or something like that. And these are my new fabric scissors. I have another pair like these, but I kind of retired them because I just wanted a new pair. And these are super sharp. And this pair I don't use at all anymore. One reason is because about 5 or 6 years ago, I was doing some sewing, and I asked Julian to sharpen them for me, and I handed them to him and handed him the sharpening file, or whatever you call this thing. And I'm sitting there sewing, and he's sharpening these scissors, and I looked over and I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "You're a carpenter, you're a construction worker, you work with tools and things like that. You don't know how to sharpen scissors?" And by the time I caught him doing what he was doing, he had completely ruined these scissors. I mean, these suckers used to, I cut my finger with them before, but you see now how difficult it is to cut with them, because he was actually taking the blade and just sawing, taking the little sharpener here, file, and just sharpening down, just bluntly going across these scissors. And I mean, he was, you know, he had big, strong, like, we called them his Popeye arms, and he had it going just like a well-oiled machine. And I freaked out, and I grabbed them, and I tried to cut some fabric with them, and they were done. And I never could get them back to that same sharpness, because they're just almost completely blunt on the blades here. So, yeah, the wrong way to sharpen them would be to go in and just take your file and file that sharp edge down. What you want to do is, and I'll tell you something about these scissors. I was doing a video the other day, and you guys didn't see it because I cut it out of the video, but I was cutting a pattern out, and I had pins in it, and one of the pins was jutted out, and I just snipped right across the pin, and it created a little nick in here. And you can't really see it, but I can definitely feel it when I try to go across. They're still pretty sharp, but that little nick in there gets caught in certain fabrics. And so this works for me. This is how I always sharpen my scissors. So if somebody does it different and it works for them, then more power to you. But this is the way my mom taught me. This is the way my dad taught me. And so this is the way I sharpen my scissors. You take your little file or whatever you have to sharpen with, and there's that nick right there. I can feel it. You just kind of go up at an angle, and I'm trying to sharpen that nick out of there, so it's coming out pretty easy. But you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to saw across the scissors. You can feel imperfections in it. The file will get caught on it, and you just kind of keep going until you get that imperfection out of there, and you get them nice and sharp again. Turn it over and do the other one, because they are 2 blades that work together. So if you're going to sharpen one side, you're going to need to sharpen the other one. And I only do this when it's necessary. I don't file my scissors every time I go to sew or something like that. Just when I feel like they need it, I file them. And you never need to overdo it. Sharp as a tack. These are my paper scissors. I never interchange my scissors. I always have, I have a collection of scissors, guys. I have maybe 10 pair all over the house because my kids have gotten a hold of my scissors and used them for things, and now they know. I mean, I had to get on to a Mama's fabric scissors are not to be used on paper, so they know better, and they know which ones they can use for paper and which ones they can't. And these scissors, you can see they cut paper great. There's a difference, to me there is, but they're not so great on the fabric because they're not sharp enough. I could probably sharpen them to cut fabric, but I like to keep these exclusively for cutting paper, patterns and things like that. And it's just the same thing. When you sharpen these, you do the same thing you would with the fabric scissors. Just file at an angle. You don't, like I said, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to underdo it. And if you do what I did and you accidentally nick across a needle or something, just file out that imperfection. Actually, in this light, I can see it a little bit. Yeah, you want to dust that off too. I can feel the little pieces of metal getting stuck in there when I try to close them. You can get these at Walmart. I think they were, I'm not sure, I think 13 bucks. But I think they're completely worth it because they are really sharp. Y'all have seen my videos. My other pair like these are pretty sharp, but I've had them for so long you can almost tell that the blade is really starting to dull down. I didn't notice that. I can see there where Julian kind of carved his name in that. He wanted to remind me these are the ones that he ruined. Bless his heart. That's just a little quick video on how to take care of your scissors. And I always keep them put up. And I had a pair, this might have been 3 pair that my mom gave me of these. But I had a pair one time that I dropped and they landed on the floor and it broke the tip off. So you want to just take really good care of your scissors because a good pair of scissors is really essential to sewing and crafting. So anyway, that's it. If y'all have any questions, just leave a comment below this video. Peace. Bye-bye.